We're now joined by Mike Erbeck, who's Vice President, United Airlines Newark Hub. Good to see you, Mike.
Good to be here today, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Mike, we're taping at the end of September. The show will be seen after that. The biggest challenges the airline industry, particularly United, is facing in the midst of this global pandemic. Describe it.
Oh, it's really just about getting people comfortable about flying again. And obviously the biggest issue that we're facing right this second is obviously the number of states that are under 14-day quarantines. I mean, as soon as we have a vaccine or as soon as we have some sort of rapid testing, I think we'll get people moving again. But right now, it's just hard to move around the country when you don't know whether or not you can enter that state or not. And obviously, the borders being closed is really significant to us at this point. We're such a large global carrier. That's a lot of our business. And when we don't have that, when we don't have borders open, we certainly do feel that pressure at this point.
You know, a lot of this obviously is about not just safety, Mike, but the perception of safety. Talk about the United Clean Plus initiative and what it has to do. And I guess I believe there's a partnership with Clorox. Talk about that initiative and why it matters to consumers.
Well, I think it's important that we get experts in this type of field. So we've actually partnered up with the Cleveland Clinic and Clorox, and they actually then spend a lot of time with us, just making sure that we're using all of the best methods. When you talk about the Cleveland Clinic, obviously they're used to dealing with viruses of this sort. And we find ourselves using a lot of the technologies that they use, including HEPA filters on our aircraft and all the cleaning standards that are put in place. But what Clean Plus really does is it just puts health and safety at the forefront of our customer's journey. We've always had safety; it's ingrained in our DNA. But this has allowed us, obviously, then to use those techniques that are out there to combat this type of virus or any type of virus for that matter. What we've done is we put a layered approach into it. Some of it's just at the airports with extra cleaning, using a lot of the Clorox 360 products. But on the aircraft, like I said, we're actually adding into that with electrostatic cleaning mechanisms, an antimicrobial shield that we're putting on the aircraft. Now that's something we're adding that's an addition to it. And then obviously we're giving out hand sanitizer to everybody. So that's like a layered approach when you put that in place. And then you add in like the aspect of, using our United app, which makes it touchless when you go through the airport.
Right.
You check the bag, and that really helps a lot. So you do these things, and it kind of creates a barrier between you and your exposure. In addition to that, obviously we're promoting, we're the first airline out there to really create a mask policy. And I think the mask policy is absolutely necessary in this. Obviously, everybody's getting a little bit of mask fatigue at this point.
But it's mandatory. As we do this program, Mike, it's mandatory.
It's 100% mandatory. You cannot, in fact, most airports, you can't enter the airport without a mask on. Most buildings, for that matter, at this point. But you cannot fly on our airline without having a mask on. So we will deny you boarding. And initially, we actually heard people having medical issues that couldn't actually wear a mask. But through our partnership with Cleveland Clinic, it's what we found is if you can't wear a mask because of a medical issue, you probably shouldn't be flying in this situation. So that's why we've been very having that as a high standard that we will not allow you to be out there without a mask on.
And by the way, let me disclose to our audience that United has been a longtime supporter of our public broadcasting programming. I just want to make that clear. So talk to us about the economic impact. How bad has the impact been, A? B, what do you believe it will take for the airline? But let me put it this way. I'm a student of innovation and leadership and adaptation. Will the airline industry ever be back to what it was pre-pandemic, but also talk about the economic impact?
Well, the economic impact is so great. This is like 5 times worse than what we experienced through 9/11. It may even be greater than that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so significant. From a company like United, where a good portion of our business is business travel, and when business travel can't maneuver at this point, we're down about 90%. We're losing about $25 million a day. So when you kind of look at that, we can't sustain that son of business model that we can continue to put forward for a very long time. Although we've done a lot to actually build up our war chest with capital so that we're prepared to actually get through this through the long term. But eventually, at some point, we do believe that a vaccine will kick in. We'll probably get a more sustainable or a faster cure. And then we'll be able to actually open things up and business will get going again. I think there's a real belief that, this type of environment where everybody's on Zoom and the way that the flexible, office space is going to be for the future. But we truly believe, and as we've seen in past pandemics in other regions of the country or other regions of the world, as well as, just kind of after 9/11, people did get back out and fly. At the end of the day, there's a lot of pent-up demand out there. People still want to go see their family and relatives, and we're a society where human race is all about getting together. We do also believe that the business will come back as well. As soon as your competitor goes out and starts having lunch or playing golf or spending time, we do believe that they'll want to get out there and be on the road as well.
Mike, I got 30 seconds, real quick. Eliminating change fees, is that a reality? Is that a policy?
That is absolutely policy. That's something, and before the pandemic, I'll say last year, we were already looking at that. We want to be the preferred airline for our customers. We want our customers to think of United when they want to think about air travel. And we know that we have not been, necessarily considered the most friendly. The biggest pain point we heard from our customers, our corporate clients and just regular customers, was the fact that we had change fees. Getting rid of change fees was something that we believe is really putting the control back on our customer. This is an opportunity for us to do it anyway, because we were doing it for the pandemic, and we're just carrying it beyond that. Change fees and same-day standby, which is all going to be great for our customers and allowing them flexibility. So we're excited about that. That's something that's permanent, and I think it's a game changer for the way the future of flying goes.
Mike Erbeck, Vice President, United Airlines in Newark Hub, which a lot of us fly out of on a regular basis. Well, we did, and hopefully we will again in the near future. Mike, I want to thank you for joining us. All the best.
Thank you very much for having me today, and we do look forward to everybody getting back out here and flying.
You got it. We'll be right back right after this.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by PNC, Grow Up Great, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Johnson & Johnson, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, the Russell Berry Foundation, Suez North America, University Hospital, and by the Adler Aphasia Center. Promotional support provided by ROI-NJ and by Insider NJ.
Hi, I'm Governor Tom Kean. A dear friend of mine had aphasia, which is a language disorder that occurs from a brain injury or a stroke. It robs a person's ability to communicate, but it doesn't affect their intellect. Programs and services offered at the Adler Aphasia Center help to improve my friend's communication skills, as well as her self-confidence and quality of life. Most importantly, she was among people who understood her. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with aphasia, there is hope.